Hey, Bougie Gang! Happy Friday, guys! What's going on? If you are new here, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Make sure your notifications are set. Or to hit the thumbs up. We have a special guest today. We have Kathy from Gossip Rumor and Innuendo. And Kathy is going to talk to us about Lori Vallow. If you have been following the Doomsday Mom cult situation, maybe it's exciting. It's getting all of the things. So we're gonna get into it in just a second. Welcome to everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad you all made it through. I'm clicking on everyone's name. If you're new here, welcome. I like to call everybody here Bougie Gang. Okay. Hey. Okay. And there's Lori. Okay. Lori got out for the weekend because she's in so much trouble in Maricopa County. We got it snuck her in for a minute to talk about all of the shenanigans and all of her pro-per. Let me bring to the stage my good Kathy. Let's see. Are we here? Let's see. Why am I not showing? Let's see. Okay, here's me. Okay, here's us. Hey,
There
Kathy.
I am.
I'm trying to. I
Hey,
had
girl,
I had
how
like
are
the
you?
perfect setup before, but I guess it's not working now. Okay, we'll keep it at this for a minute. How are
Okay,
you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Look, I
I'm
can pat Lori's hair.
okay. Go that way because I think we're flipped.
Oh wait, am I?
Use your other hand. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're
Oh,
actually giving her a scalp massage right now.
I don't want to do that. I don't know what might be in there. She been in the prison.
Oh,
No,
can you
thank you. No,
just
ma'am.
let me ask you this. How is she maintaining her blonde? How is she maintaining her blonde right now? Can you give me
I
can you
know.
know anything? Do you have any
I
intel on
know
that topic? Let's
everything.
just get right into it.
I have developed an encyclopedic knowledge of this crazy
Mm,
lady and her family. In the prison that she was in before in North
mhm.
Idaho, Iowa, up there in
Okay.
Iowa, not
Yes.
Iowa, Idaho. I always
Right.
confuse the two. They are not allowed cosmetics, but they're in Maricopa
Mm.
County as part of the commissary. You can get eyeliner and you can
Stop
get hair
it.
dye.
You gotta be kidding. So
Nope.
if you're a girly girl and makeup is very important to you or your looks,
Yep.
which is not,
Yep.
I mean, of course, you might want to be in Maricopa County because you get to keep up and look cute and do your
Yes.
maintenance while you're doing your
Yes.
sentence. Okay.
You
You
do
guys,
basic makeup, but wait, she says when she takes a shower at night, she twists her hair in towels so that
okay.
she has the ringlet curls. So she's working it out.
But you know, back in the day, which I know they don't have hairpins, but her hair is very long. She could do the twisty, and almost
Yep.
like Bantu knots. If you know, you
Yep.
know. But
Yep.
basically, she can part it, twirl it,
She's tying it in
knot
clothes.
it.
They say she's tying it in clothes, towels, sheets,
Yeah.
strips of it. But reportedly, she does not like Maricopa County. She enjoyed the people, the food, and the view in Idaho better.
Well,
Okay, ma'am.
I have it on good authority, i.e., court records, that she has like a whole lifetime or two or three to enjoy the view. So I mean,
Work it out.
She she gonna be okay. Also, you know what? She could actually use a t-shirt to make a little bonnet. Because if she Bantu knots her hair, take a t-shirt. Girl, you
Oh,
know, she needs to ask the girls. If
but
girls in prison over there with her at the jailhouse, baby, they will.
mhm,
I'm sure they could be giving her some tips. Okay. But she's also a hairstylist. So she's been
yeah.
educated in the arts of of hair care. So, guys, if you do not know Kathy, Kathy is my good from New Jersey. We met through YouTube, and
Yep.
she's very sweet, and she's just. I mean, I think you also said something about like because I mentioned Englewood or something, and you were like, "I'm Englewood," and I was just like,
Bergen
"Really
County.
now?" So,
Bergen County.
okay, Bergen County. We're both Bergen County girls. I'm Bergen County born and raised, and
Yep.
you're Bergen County by choice, more so, right?
By choice for the
I was
past
not by choice.
25
I was by
years.
birth. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful. I think
Yes.
it's one of the most beautiful parts of New Jersey. But I'm partial. But yes, Kathy has a channel called Gossip, Rumor, Innuendo, and you should
Mhm.
check her out. And I think some of your friends are here from Gossip, Rumor, Innuendo because I do see something I don't
Yep.
normally see. Maybe it's like a link. So I think some of Kathy's friends who are joining us maybe on Kathy's channel or over here on
Yes.
my channel. I'm clicking on you guys' comments too. So welcome to the broadcast. We're happy to have you. So let's start with Friday. Not Friday. Let's start with what's today? Friday, Thursday. So Wednesday afternoon, right? Was there court yesterday? There was court yesterday for a
There
little
was
with the hearing.
Yeah, they were doing jury instructions yesterday.
Okay, let's start with that because I did watch that. Um, so they started out again with, "Hey, Lori, are you going to deliver a defense or what are you doing? Are you presenting evidence?" No, I don't think so. And so they went ahead and started with the jury instructions, the editing. So if you don't know
Mhm.
what they deliver the case to the jury, they give them a list of instructions. Basically, it's the law that they should follow
Right.
um, compared to the evidence presented to make a determination if the person's guilty or not, right? Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
they said, based on this answer, we're going to go ahead and get this document perfected. And if you change your mind, you need to let us know. Okay. So she said she would let them know by Monday. They needed to know by the latest 10 o'clock on Monday. So, do you think, even though she said she rests, even though she said twice she's not going to testify, she's not putting on a defense, what do
Right.
you think?
I don't think she's going to testify. And here's why. They told her, you can't just get up there and tell a story in the narrative format, right?
Mm,
You have to have questions and then have somebody like her counsel or whatever has to ask
mhm,
her the questions and then she could answer them. And she would do fine with that, I would imagine. That
mhm.
cross-examination would bury her. They
Okay.
could also bring in her other charges. So if she wants to keep the fact that she's doing triple life in Idaho, Iowa, then she gotta leave it alone. But she's just enjoying being on stage.
How do you so they would have to open the door would have to be opened. It's not a just if she testifies that they're automatically going to be able to bring in that evidence. Aren't they going to she'll have to open the door. She'll have to slip up and mention something that
Well, yes
makes
and
it
no.
okay, so
Yes
tell
and
me.
no. Because her credibility, like you're supposed to sort of rate everybody who gets on the stand based on their credibility. And the fact that she's a convicted felon weighs against her credibility. So
No, I
maybe
get that.
they don't
Right.
go into all the dirty details, but when she gets up there, they can ask her, like, okay, you say this, you say that, blah, blah, blah. One of those questions can be, are you a convicted felon in another state? Now, they don't have to
Really?
say what she did, what her sentence is, anything like that. But the fact that she's a convicted felon in another state, the jury is allowed to consider that.
So I did hear the judge mention that if you testify, we may have to let them know. The judge mentioned that. We may have to let them know.
Yep.
But it it's not a foregone conclusion that all the dirty details are going to come out, but it
Right.
will sully the image that she's trying to project at this moment,
Right.
considering that, she's trying it. Okay, so they did the jury instructions based on her not testifying. I almost feel like Lori is very unpredictable, and she very well could
Mm.
on Monday be like, you know what, I changed my mind.
She
What?
could.
I
She
mean, what
could.
does she
I mean,
lose? She's
she
already
is.
doing life. I don't feel
But they
like
say she likes to be in control, right? And when she's asking questions, she's in control. But
right.
when that DA comes at her with their questions, she's going to be deeply out of control. And in my opinion, that's where she risks tipping herself over into saying something that is, that would give more information about the deaths of her children. So
Absolutely.
I think it's a control thing. She's like, nah, nah.
Do you
We'll
feel
see.
like she's been a little friendly with, is it Trina K? I feel like
Hmm.
I'm saying her name wrong. Is it Trina?
It's Trina. Yeah, Trina
Okay.
K.
Because when they were doing the instruction, she was like, "Oh no, like it was almost like a little crosstalk, if you will. I just immediately thought Lori was going to be like it was going to be bitch on bitch kind of thing, and she's been like, "Oh
Mm-mm.
no," and I mean, she's standing up for herself, but
Right.
it did seem like a little bit of like wannabe colleagues or something. Like
Yeah,
it was.
she doing lawyer
Trina's not
drag.
having any part of it, but Lori has been. She's been amicable. She's
Yes.
been amiable, or you know what I mean? She's been not what I thought. I thought she was going to be in like bitch mode. Um
Mm-hmm.
but she really does kind of cower in the presence of authority. So maybe she's
Yes.
the type that seems big, or she puts on her nasty girl, her mean girl when
Mm-hmm.
she's around people she feels comfortable dominating. But when she's
Mm-hmm.
around people who are smarter than her, more powerful than her, which maybe narcissists do that a lot. Is that's kind of a
For
narcissist
sure.
trait? Is that she's
For
demonstrating
sure.
like classic, like they give deference to people they feel like they have, even if they're maybe not super respectful, but they do give deference to people. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're absolutely right. And think about when her ex-sister-in-law, Kay Woodcock, was on the stand.
Yeah.
The way Lori went after Nancy Joe, the woman who went on one date with Charles, knew Charles for 1 week. She went after that woman as hard as she possibly could because she's just like, I got the goods. I'm gonna da 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 da. But when Kay Woodcock, JJ's grandma, got on the stand, she was like, she did anything but pedal in her pants. She was like, good afternoon, Mrs. Woodcock. And Kay was like, I can't hear you. Speak up. And she was, yes,
Absolutely.
I just have a
Like,
couple of questions for you. I'm like, okay, girl, we see you. Because
right.
Kay was having none of it. None.
Stop talking like you hadn't been in my refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Like when there's someone said T-neck here. Okay. Okay, T-neck.
Hey,
Bergen
girl,
County's in the
hey.
house. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, stop talking like we don't know each other. That was kind of unsettling the way she talked to Adam too. Kind of, it took me a minute to get,
yeah.
because I was like, that was weird. But okay, so they did the jury instructions as if she's not testifying. And then
Hmm.
they started talking about the next trial, which is Brandon Boudreau, the
Yes.
ex-husband of her niece. And
Yes.
she was like, I want my speedy trial. I want my speedy
Yeah. So
trial.
there's a whole backstory with the speedy trial thing. I don't
Uh-huh.
know how dug in you are on this case, but I've been following this case for 5 years. So I know
I'm
things.
2 years. I'm since Netflix, like a little before Netflix. I may have seen
Oh.
like a maybe one or two of the first Datelines or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. It might not have been Dateline, but I definitely remember tuning in when the Netflix came up because I was like, "Oh yeah, I heard about this story." So I've been like low key following, but I guess in the last year, it's just been like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, this is
It's been
finally
crazy.
all happening. Yeah. So I'm in here, like it's kind of like I start having some recall about, oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. But I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't been, it wasn't intentional. It was more so because
Yeah.
I watch crime news and watch Dateline
I'm
and all of
I'm
those things. So
deep down the
right.
rabbit hole.
You
And
were
I don't even.
intentional.
Yeah, but there's a ton of cases that I follow, like just a little bit, just in the background, keeping an eye out on it. But when this lady's kids were missing, I remember Nate Eaton, who, when nobody knew Nate Eaton's name, was in Hawaii saying, Lori, where are your kids? People are praying for you. And she's like, that's good, or thank you, or whatever she
Mhm.
said. I was like, that lady killed her kids. So when they started digging in the backyard, in Chad's backyard, and they found the bodies, people were like shocked. And I was like, from day one, I thought she had killed the kids. So, oh, wait, I want to shout out
Mhm.
Christina Avery, I see my LDS correspondent just popped in and said hello. So
Hold
hello to
on. I
her.
feel
I
like
had it scrolled
I
by a
see.
few minutes ago,
Okay. I
but we
can't.
had
I'm so bad at
it's okay.
scrolling backwards. I never can see.
And your
But
chat goes
but
fast.
bubble up another comment, and I'm trying to comment on
There she
everybody.
is. There she
Am
oh,
I
she's
on
on my
her?
channel.
Oh, she's on your
Uh,
channel. Okay.
yeah, she's on my channel, so look for the
Okay.
little link. But this morning, because it's like because I followed this case, I've learned a bunch of LDS stuff, but I
Mhm.
know just enough to be dangerous. So I was like, wait, I need somebody who knows this stuff, right? Who's deeply entrenched in it to come on my channel and tell me what's what. So I put a call out for an LDS correspondent. I'm like, can somebody please? And all of our LDS friends were like, no, girl, no, because they're not gonna roast me in the comments. And so Christina bravely stepped up and
Mhm.
volunteered as tribute. And so we did about a 30, 40-minute, just like a quick little fun, light interview. I'm not trying to convert her to be a heathen like me. She wasn't trying to get me over to read the
Okay.
Book of Mormon or nothing. So I just had questions. And she answered all of my questions so lovely. And the response has been really wonderful. I did have to cast one devil out of the comments, but only one, which is good.
Ooh. So you're over there
So yeah,
casting. So,
yes,
Kathy,
I'm
if I had
casting.
you on the stand and I was asking you questions and I asked you, Kathy, have you ever attempted to cast someone out?
I would have to say yes, because in my family, we believe in casting out devils. Some of my aunties and
Okay.
them, not me personally. I will cuss somebody out. I won't cast them out.
Right. I will cuss out, not cast. So let me
Hmm
ask you
hmm
this. I immediately when you mentioned LDS friends, I immediately thought the Brown family, the Brown family of St. George,
Cody
by
Brown.
way of
Yes,
Vegas
yes,
and
yes,
all of
yes.
that,
Not the
Cody
same
and all of
thing.
them.
Not the
But
same thing.
I don't know if they get counted in. I feel like
No.
the Vout do not, they're like, we don't really know them like that. Like no.
So look, let me break it down for you, right?
Yes, tell us.
There's a whole bunch of different kinds of LDS people, right?
Right.
Now on my channel, I have broken them down into four categories. We have the diet Mormons. You know, the ones just like a little bit Mormon. They go on Christmas and Easter. They may or may not do all the Mormony things, but they know how to speak the language, right? So
Absolutely.
that's the diet Mormons. The funeral potato Mormons, they do all the Mormony things, right? They go to temple and they go to church and they're part of the Relief Society. They're in there. They've read all the
They
books,
do their
but
missions.
they do their mission. They do all the regular thing, but not more. Then you have the better than you Mormons. Now listen, every group has a better than you group. It's a better than you
Absolutely.
PTA mom. It's a better than you Girl Scout leader.
They're
There's
better
always
than
the better
you
than you.
YouTubers.
Girl.
Okay.
Mm. So the better than
We're
you
not talking about
category,
that today though. Okay.
mhm. That better than those better than you Mormons. Oh, they more Mormony than you. And they know all the things. Me personally, I would put there's sort of two categories of better than you. There's better than you that are just like looking down on everybody, and then there's who have gone off into like super fundamentalism where they believe they can have 12 wives here on Earth. The Cody Brown family is not traditional mainstream Latter-day Saints, LDS
Right.
Mormons, whatever you want to call them.
They're not
They're
even
better than you.
traditional. They're not even
No,
traditional better than you. They
no.
are
They
they're
better than you with a side of them.
untraditional. They're untraditional better than you. I may have lost my marbles.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And so if you get to the better than you stage and you keep reading and you looking for like deeper meaning, some of them get to the point where they're like, well, Jesus is speaking to me specifically, and he told me that I could unfortunately unalive you and I could poison you and I could bonk you on the head and it don't count for me. I'm still gonna get to heaven.
Mm.
Now those people, we they going to hell with gasoline draws on, but it's not my job to send them, but they doing a good job of sending themselves. Lori Vallow Daybell is a zombie Mormon. That's the highest level of that's like better than you, next level. Them those LD those the Cody Brown people, they mostly I think not they're not unaliving people, but they are taking a whole bunch of wives and treating the women bad and stuff like that, having too many kids and all the
Making
things.
their own rules. They're
Yes.
making their own
Yes.
rules and all of that. But yeah, Lori, Lori is on some different type of, she says, is it called transcending or is it
She
transcending or
oh, what was the word? It was she has, uh-oh, help me,
when
LDS
they were talking
friends.
about Nephi,
Yeah, she is a
transition, it's not transitioned, it's not
it's trans
transcended.
something. I don't child.
The T word. Okay, it's the
Yes, the
T.
T word.
Um, so
Translated.
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 Okay. She's
Yes, she's a
she
translated being.
yes, yes. So she's like a spirit here on earth. I'm assuming she's
Yes.
meaning that she is she's of the
That means
spirit.
but the translated ones, also zombie Mormons, feel like anything they do is not a sin. Like sins don't count for them. So they can, they can unfortunately unalive you, they can smack you in the face, they can hit you with their car, they can cheat on their husband, and it doesn't count for them because they're already holy. And I'm like, oh, for real.
Well, and I would
Come over here with
think
some
also
nonsense,
they're
we'll
doing
see.
everything in the will of God, but if they consider themselves to be a supreme being, they're doing everything for the better, even if it's
Right,
something not good
right.
in their mind. So let's talk about, so yesterday was the hearing. We know
Yeah.
that they're going with Brandon Boudreau next.
Mm-hmm.
Lori
Mm-hmm.
was very pissed because she wants to have her speedy trial. Um,
Right,
and they're working on that. So even though they're closing one trial at this moment, they're getting ready to go to verdict, or they're getting ready to
right.
go to the jury. The jury is getting ready to get the case to start to deliberate. Let me say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
They are already putting on the books and scheduling the next trial, which is Brandon Boudreau, the nephew.
Yes.
Now we talked about this a little bit about the jury not knowing that she is a convicted killer. So we saw this
Right.
before in, what's the boy, the young man who killed his daddy and then killed his mummy in Florida?
Oh,
Colin, was it
yes.
Colin Griffin? Colin
Griffith.
Griffin.
Yeah,
Griffith,
yeah.
yeah. Do you
He's
think
scary.
people are going to feel away? I get why they didn't tell them because it can be prejudicial, but also just in the timeline when this murder
Mhm.
happened, those murders hadn't happened yet. Period.
Right.
So
Correct.
the way I reconcile it is when this murder happened, the we're frozen in time right now.
Mhm.
Okay? It's not just the law and it's not just because of at this moment in time, when this murder happened, Tylee, JJ, Tammy, everybody was still alive. So we're
Yep.
going with that because if those people were still alive, then they would be there. Because they're
Right.
not alive, they're not. But because of the rules, we're not telling them. But
Right.
so I get it. Do you think the jury is going to feel some type of way that they did not have that information? Do you think they're going to feel cheated? Um, or is it not even relevant because um
Right.
Lori, look, I'm gonna just say this. Lori she's definitely dingbatty, but she's done a better job than I thought she would. Um,
Yeah.
she has really tried to park on self-defense. And I know we talked about this the other day. The police did treat them like it was a DV situation or some sort of
Mhm.
home, too drunk in-laws or,
Right.
they did not too drunk in-laws specifically, but shit happens every day that we don't hear about. It doesn't make the news where
Right.
guns are going off and people are shooting each other and neighbor disputes and all that kind of stuff. They questioned them and they sent them home. How long
Mhm.
was it between them getting sent home and her getting charges?
2 years.
Okay, so that's my point. They didn't really, and I'm not going to say it was 2 years for them to see the light, but maybe it was a year. Maybe after the kids went missing, that's when they started looking into Charles's death, right? So let's just
Mhm.
say, but for 12, like they just probably thought it was two guys got
Yep.
into it. I'm sure
Yep.
in any city across the country, there are two family members getting into it. It's getting ready to be the summer. That happens all the
Yep.
time, especially
Cookouts, whatever.
cookouts,
Yeah.
drinking,
Drinking.
parties, young people, Christmas time, tax
Yep.
time,
Yep.
anytime where there's money and all those things, there's always there's family disputes. So I really just I
Mhm.
don't so she was trying it. What do you think derailed that if that's her defense, what do you think derailed that defense? Was it the fake Yahoo accounts? Was it
And
KKW? Was it KK Walker? And
honestly,
was it the KK Walker email, or which one was
a
it?
mess. The whole thing was a mess. I mean, I think she had a lot of privilege, right? She has pretty privilege. She's a pretty blonde white lady in a gated community in a beautiful home, and everybody, if had these people had there been like the smell of liquor or a car with the wheels falling off or whatever, had they been more down market, I think this would have gotten a closer look.
Right. If
But
they had meth teeth and living in a
girl,
trailer, baby, everybody
girl,
would have been in the jail. But they lived
say
in a
that.
nice situation. The little boy's going to private school.
Yep.
Ma'am has
Clean
flowing
records.
locks. They've
Mm-hmm.
got a little bit of coins. They just moved
Yep.
to the area. Um yeah, so I think they kind of gave her a little bit of like, oh,
She
okay.
got a pass.
Yeah, it's
She absolutely got a pass. And I'm just like, okay. And so I think she felt like, okay, she got away with this. Everything's gonna be good. But she pushed it too far. I mean, first of all, you're not supposed to be out here unfortunately unaliving people. That's number one, right?
period.
But then
Absolutely.
there's rumors about what happened to the husband before Charles, who had a heart attack that a lot of
Yes,
people in the
yes.
family think was suspicious. She didn't like
Ryan,
him. Her
is it
brother
Joe
had attacked
Ryan?
him. Joe Ryan,
Tylee's father.
Charlie's
So husband number
biological dad.
3. Yeah.
Husband number 3. Wait, I heard a rundown of the husbands this morning on some podcast, and I was like, oh, this sheds a whole different light on it. She's had 5 husbands, right? Immediately after high school, she went off and met and married some dude that the family didn't know. He wasn't Mormon. She started getting high and using drugs and doing all this.
I
And the
think he
family
abused
is
her
like,
too. He
yeah,
was
he did.
beating her up.
The the
Yeah.
the family was like, we don't like him. Like, you need to stay away. She's 17 or 18 years old. They were like, you need to stay away from him. And she's like, well, I already married him. And she cut off her family, ran off to be with that
Defiant
dude
from day one.
from way back. And
Mhm.
then as soon as that dude beat her up too much, she went back home to mommy and daddy and were like, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And
Mhm.
so they got that annulled or whatever they did. That
Mhm.
marriage was ended. And then not 2 seconds later, she meets husband number 2 and rinse and repeat. It was the same kind of thing. He was a bum. She was living at her brother's house. That dude was a hobosexual and just moved in with her and the brother.
I
And
feel
then
like
he was
okay.
beating her up. And
Uh-huh.
then that was a mess. And so she
That's
was like,
Cody's
oh,
dad. That's Cody Ryan's dad. Even though
yeah,
he so in
Colby. Yep.
is it what is it?
Colby, like the
Colby, excuse
cheese.
me. Okay.
Yep.
Colby's dad, but Colby took Joe Ryan's name.
Yes.
So,
One of
okay.
my stepmothers did that. Girl, it's a mess. Anyway,
No,
but she
they were so
she
formal
cooked
back then. Now nobody cares. It's you might have
right.
a household with many different
12
names.
different names.
Okay,
Well,
absolutely.
she married dude number 2. He beat her up. She left. She was
Mm,
pregnant when she left, and then she met Joe Ryan. So I
yes.
believe that she was pregnant when she met Joe Ryan, and she's like, the father is dude, whoever's standing next to me. So she was, and when you have a baby, you get to choose the name first, middle, and last. By
Hmm.
tradition, people will give the baby the name of the father or the name of the
Right,
mother. She gave the baby the name of her new husband. And so that's how you get Colby Ryan, though Joe Ryan is not his biological father.
right,
And then they got pregnant with this second baby. And by the time she was pregnant with the second baby, she was like, ooh, it's going to be a no for me.
right,
And she got herself out of that marriage by saying he's terrible, he's abusing the kids, he's doing terrible things. And she's the type that's like, just need somebody to rescue me. And
right.
so along comes Charles Vallow, who
Yes.
rescued her and kept her in fine fashion. He made a lot of money. He's a former pro ball player. She's got these 2 kids. He's raising them like his own. He had 2 kids. She had 2 kids. And they're like, we're living happily ever after. But her brain is super ticklish, and so it went all the way to the left anyway. And she obviously killed him, which brings us to where we are now. But she got a lot of husbands, a lot of trauma. There's allegedly childhood essay in her past from one of her teachers.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
a lot of trauma, a lot of trauma, a lot of trauma. She
So she went from being abused to being an abuser. So she flipped
Mhm.
it. I wonder
Yep.
when the light switched in her that made her flip from being victimized to now being a
Right.
victimizer. And maybe that was, when she grew her disdain for Charles Vallow and she started the
Mhm.
studyings of the illustrious, and I'm being facetious, Chad Daybell and all of
Yes.
his interesting teachings. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon, for the phrase, it's corny sometimes, the hurt people, but
Yeah.
maybe it was the metamorphosis of the victim who'd been victimized, which I don't feel sorry for her, because at the end of the
Right.
day, if she felt that way, she could have gotten help at any moment, and she certainly
Mhm.
never had to kill innocent people. So nobody feels bad for her, but I guess just to understand, because let's not forget there's other Lori Vallows out here. There's other people out
Truly.
here, because if there's a Taylor
Truly.
Shabusiness, there
Mhm.
is a Lori Val. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, let's be real here. There's
Mhm.
more Loris out here.
Mhm.
So it's better we understand and know when we cross these people's paths or when we see them coming, to have a better understanding, to not think it's us, because it really is them, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing, she's didn't start hurting people recently. You know what I mean? People think, oh, she went off the rails when she got with Chad. She, in the medical records of Tylee from when Tylee was a baby, Lori was suspected of Munchausen syndrome by
Mhm.
proxy. They say that Tylee was sick her whole life, but she was most sick when she was around her mother. It got Lori a lot of attention, and Tylee really needed her and all of these things. And so Tylee had terrible, terrible illnesses, and Lori got to be the hero. And I'm sure that got her some sort of like praise and accolades. But then in the end, she threw Tylee away anyway. Like, I think she's a narcissist for sure. But I personally, not that I'm a doctor child, I'm just a gossip. But I think she's a sociopath. Like, she's deeply, deeply, like, something is not right in her head. It's crazy. It's just a
I
matter of who is going to land on next. And Chad is lucky that he's on death row, because there's no question she would have been next. He would have been next, or his kids, or something like that. Because that whole situation. Plus, he was broke. She likes her a rich man. Miss Lori likes nice
Somebody, yeah,
things.
she's got to have a little bit of coins. Um,
Hmm.
she definitely does demonstrate classic narcissist, and I think even though, as lay people, right? I think we look. I can read, you can read.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not diagnosing, but at the end of the day, I mean, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If we it
Call a
is what
thing a
it
thing.
is. It is what it is. And whether she's a true narcissist or narcissistic tendencies, narcissistic
Hmm.
injury, there is some narcissism there. And
Yep.
we do know one thing: she is homicidal, and she has. So
Real bad.
this is the rub. So this case revolves around conspiracy.
Right.
Do you think that, based on the emails, and I have to apologize, my dogs are being super vocal, of course,
I can't
at
hear
this
them at
moment.
all.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Um, do you think they have proven a conspiracy? Like, take the 5 years out of it, though, because I try
Right.
sometimes to listen
Right.
like I don't know what's going on. Do you
Hmm.
think, has she put any reasonable doubt? Like, let's talk to both. Do you think they have
Mm.
proven the conspiracy? Like, let's talk about the emails, the text messages. Um, do you think, based on everything we've seen over the past 7 days of testimony, have they proven a conspiracy?
I think it was a really pretty weak case on the state's part. And it's to their benefit that Lori is representing herself, because the case was awfully thin. I mean, basically, the big thing they had is the emails and the family suspicion. The family suspicion, you could take or leave. And a lot of the extra information that, like, Kay brought in, and things like that. Um, a regular lawyer would have said, that needs to be stricken from the record. When Kay was like, I didn't see anything, but obviously there's a ton of evidence that shows you did it. Those emails, I think, are what bury her. And a real lawyer maybe could have kept them out or could have limited them or whatever. But Lori getting up, conducting herself, like, I'm not a lawyer. And so I can look at her and be like, looks lawyerly to me, and the jury is not lawyers. They're like, okay, she's doing a pretty good job. Maybe they're not noticing the objections that she missed and things like that. She gets up there, she asks her questions. Okay, she did what she's doing her best to defend
Mhm.
herself. And had she gone with a real lawyer, she may have been able to walk on these charges. But in Maricopa County, it would have taken years because they're saying that they're leaving people sitting there with capital cases for 7, 8, 9 years. And she's like, I want this to be fast. So she's
Mm.
getting her speedy trial, but her speedy trial is costing her her freedom, though it doesn't matter. She's doing 3 life sentences anyway.
Right.
But
So do
those
you think
emails, those last little emails of, oh, did he have those 3 bullets in? Did he change the life insurance policy after he had 2 bullets in his chest? Those snarky little emails and stuff that she was sending back and forth, that I think is what will bury her.
it definitely does show snark and all of those things, but she never really came out and said, like, it wasn't slam dunk, this is it. But I do
Right.
think that they were bad. I do think that because people don't know Tammy's dead, I feel like this
Mm-hmm.
case in reverse, because we're getting to see it in reverse, I think it all comes together for us, right? If
Yeah.
you're just now seeing all of this, it's kind of like not knowing that Tammy's dead.
Or
You
the
don't really
kids.
know the impact of that letter. The letter
Yep.
really shined a light on Chad's exposure,
Yep. His
and he was
deception. Mm-hmm.
exposed, the deception, and then the weird things that happened to her, like the weird person at the house with the paintball gun, and her feeling, her being, so everything in reverse that we've all seen over the last few years and everything,
Mm-hmm.
this brings together like a missing piece of, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. I wonder for people who are just seeing this and people who don't know as much, is they probably have a lot of questions because it
I'm
doesn't,
sure.
everything is not proven. But when they find out Tammy's dead, yes, Lori, I think they did tell them Lori and Chad did get married, but they got married
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks after Tammy was killed. And oh, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, the kids are dead and they were buried at Chad's house. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
um, Alex is dead too, by the way. That's why he hadn't testified. I mean, it's a lot.
How are
It's a lot.
so many people dead? I mean, and she
How are
has
you
on
the only
several
person
occasions.
alive? You're the only
Right.
person alive from the
Right. I
original
mm-hmm.
Chandler Police Department coming out. Everybody who was in that house is dead except for her, and she's back in Chandler on trial.
Right. I can see them convicting her on this. I can see them struggling on the Brandon Boudreau charges. If you don't know all the other stuff, if you don't know she killed her husband, if you don't know she killed her kids, if you don't know that she married this dude and all this other crazy woo-woo, nutso stuff was happening, it's like, well, this guy thinks that she fired at him, maybe. Like, I think they'll struggle on the I can't talk,
Boudreaux.
Brandon
Boudreaux.
Boudreau
Mhm.
charges. But because she's defending herself, I think she'll be convicted on both. But if she let a real lawyer take on Brandon's case, my personal opinion, I think she would struggle. They would struggle to convict her.
I wonder how they're going to tie that in. I think this came over to your channel from KH, just so you know.
Oh,
KH
thank you,
came
KH.
through. And thank you
Wow.
to all the members. Sean, thank you. Sean Sullivan. I'm not sure. I'm clicking on stuff, but I'm not sure where they're so I think Christine joined over on your channel, Kathy. I think she's a new member for you.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you
Nice.
to things I wish I never said. Queen Brielle, thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, KH. Yes. So your the Gossip Rumor Innuendo family is coming through. Make sure you hit the like button for Kathy over on Kathy's channel. And I hope you're doing
Thank
the
you. Thank
same over
you.
here too. We appreciate you very much. Okay. So, but she was on camera moving the tire and the back seat. Okay, so let's talk about that. But
Yeah.
she was on camera moving the tire and the back seat. So what
Oh,
is
that's
the
That's the Brandon case. So I mean, I don't know how much people really know sort of like the ins and
all
outs
right,
of
so
this
give us
case.
the Kathy in the morning. Kathy, 6 in the morning. My video just dropped. I'm checking my feed and here is Kat. I'm like, oh, there's Kathy, girl. I just finished making my husband's lunch and I just got my alert and it's Kathy in the morning. Go.
So here's the thing. Lori Vallow Daybell has a whole bunch of siblings. One of her nieces, Melanie, who there's a bunch of Melanies in this story. So people have referred to the niece, Melanie, as Melanice. Melanice was married to Brandon Boudreau. Melanice starts hanging out all the time with her Aunt Lori and starts following around Chad Daybell and believing all these crazy things. And they're the chosen ones and they're demons. I mean, and they're holy and sanctified and their sins don't count and all these things. And Lori was like, hey girl, hey, I heard your husband has a whole lot of life insurance money. If we get rid of him and possibly also them children, that because she had 3 kids with her first husband, if we get rid of your husband, we could get a whole bunch of life insurance money, and then we can all go off and live in glory. And by glory, I mean Rexburg, Idaho. Which, ooh, dear Black Jesus.
Or the
But
Holy Land adjacent Hawaii.
right? I'm like, but mostly they were all planning to retreat to Rexburg so that they could await the second coming. Okay. So Lori started planning with her brother Alex and her boyfriend Chad, her boyfriend
Mhm.
who looks like a thumb, and her niece to kill Melanie's husband for the life insurance money. And so Tyler, keep in mind, Tylee is dead, JJ is dead. At the time that Brandon was shot at, those kids were missing. We know now that the kids were no longer on this mortal coil.
Mhm.
But since Tylee is not around, this Jeep that her stepdaddy bought her, oh, that Jeep is right there. We can just
It's
use
just
that. So
yeah.
they took the tire off the back of the Jeep and they
Mhm.
took the window out or a seat. They made it so that somebody could get in the back of that Jeep and get a gun and fire a long gun at Brandon with the hope that they would take him out, that the niece would be able to collect her $1 million of life insurance money because Lori was supposed to get $1 million in life insurance money. The niece was going to get $1 million in life insurance money. Chad was going to get $400,000 or $500,000 in life insurance money, and they were all going to live happily ever after until the second coming.
Mhm.
Well, Alex Cox, Lori's brother, Melanie's uncle, got a gun, fired it at Brandon, and he missed.
Mhm.
And Brandon was like, ruh-roh, like the
Yeah,
kids are
what
missing.
happened?
Charles is gone. I'm scared. And so the LDS community and his friends that lived over there in Chandler, Idaho, where he was, took him in and basically created like an underground railroad and hid him and the kids for months because they kept going to the police saying like, hey, the pretty blonde lady whose husband is dead, she's over here, doing terrible things. And the police were like, okay, can you come back to
No,
us
no, she's
when she's
not.
poor and toothless? Yeah, they
They're
refused
like,
to
no, she's
investigate. They didn't
not.
follow up. They didn't call any witnesses. They make it look like now, oh, it took us a while to get the information from her iCloud. Yeah, it took them a while because they did not investigate it at
It wasn't
all.
a
Brand
priority because they
at
weren't
all.
I won't say it
They
wasn't a
weren't poor
priority. There were
people.
shifting priorities. There were different jurisdictions. It was multi-states. There was a lot going on. There were people dying.
Yep.
Um, Charles was already dead, so there wasn't really anyone to advocate for the kids as much. Kay
Yep.
Woodcock was, but she's the grandmother who gave the kid up for adoption, and people have a right to live their lives. So it wasn't so
Mm-hmm.
they were discounting her. It's just kind of like it is okay to not answer phone calls. It is okay to
Right.
not be around. It is okay for someone to not get back to you. So I think for
Right.
things like that, it was more so like they just weren't convinced that what they
Mhm.
said was going on was actually like a thing, that a thing was actually a thing.
Right. Kay Woodcock is the tip of the spear in terms of bringing all of this to light because she was like, that's my grandbaby. Where's JJ? Where's JJ? Where's JJ? Hello, police. Where's JJ? Arizona. Where's JJ? She
Right.
would not stop asking and was just like, they're like, well, can we call you back? She was like, no, I will hold. Where is JJ?
Right. This
And
is
when
not
they didn't give her
normal.
answers,
Right.
she was like, boop, 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 boop. Hello, FBI. Listen, I got this little grandbaby. He's special needs. Y'all better go talk to that girl. And the FBI was like, wait, what now? Because once she moved from Chandler, Arizona to Idaho, it becomes this interstate thing. And once it's interstate, that's FBI. And Kay Woodcock never stopped investigating, never stopped looking, never stopped knocking on doors and ringing bells and worrying people within an inch of their very life about her grandbaby. Yeah, listen, don't mess with a grandmama
Well,
who's
and
bad.
I think also too because Lori adopted him, that also was a fly in the ointment because she had a right, she had parental rights as a mother
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
have JJ. So even though Kay is the grandmother and by blood she really is next of kin, that was unfortunately an obstacle that delayed everything because Lori
Yes.
was hiding under the cover of like parental privilege or adopted parental privilege. I think they just were like, oh, well, she's the mother and she has a right to, kind of like, any other grandparents' rights type situation going on.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, you have a right to not be available, right? But
Yep.
no, absolutely. I think she knew something was wrong as soon as her brother was unalived by, you know, my grandson is stuck with this woman whose brother killed my brother. That would
Right.
drive, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night on that.
Oh my God. On the strength
So,
of she's not returning phone calls, she's acting really weird. And Charles had said to his sister Kay, Lori told me she doesn't want me. She doesn't want JJ. She doesn't want Tylee. She had told Charles told Kay that apparently through tears. So suddenly Charles is gone, and then those two kids are gone. The police were only looking for JJ, and because he's a special needs child, that raises it to a next level. Had he been a neurotypical child, they might have been like, well, it's the mother, whatever. But he's a special needs child, and Tylee was nearly an adult when they realized, wait, we can't find JJ, but has anybody seen Tylee? It is also Kay Woodcock who started ringing the alarm about Tylee as well. So the same way she was like rattling cages and being the squeaky wheel about JJ, she became that for Tylee as well. And then other people sort of galvanized behind her. But she's like, I got a Wi-Fi connection and nothing but free time. Go on and
okay,
try me. She was
period.
out in the
I mean,
streets.
she did look, at the end of the day, she did what she had to do and it was done perfectly because look what's
Yep.
unfolded. Unfortunately, it wasn't soon enough to save the
Yeah.
kids because
Yep.
she would have no way of knowing that Lori had such evil in her mind about these children moving forward that she would
Crazy.
do such a thing. But honestly, um it's sad. It's very sad that she didn't know or wasn't able to go in and swoop in and get
Mhm.
JJ before it was too late and try to save Tylee. The thing that breaks my heart the most is when they were talking about, who was it that was saying it? That they were saying that Lori was on the phone talking about zombies. Was it it was Melanie? No, it was a friend. It was the friend
Melanie Gibb. Melanie
Melanie
Gibb.
Gibb. Okay, Melanie Gibb was talking, and Lori was saying something about the zombies, and she said something about Tylee, and Tylee said, "Not me, mom."
Yep. Yep.
Every time
Because
I think about that, oh,
oh,
that gets me so bad. That little girl, she knows her mom was not shit. She probably heard a
yep.
lot. She saw a lot. She was exposed to a lot. Her mom was abusing her. And to hear her mom's dialogue about other people, and then now she's coming for you, that little
Mhm.
girl had to be terrified.
And
She
she was
had
no
to be
wilting
fine.
violent either. She was the kind who was just like, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna talk back and I'm gonna say whatever, whatever. She was reportedly a mouthy teenager, as some teenagers are,
Well,
who
she
was
got it
not
from her
giving her no
mama. Look at her mom.
absolutely. Absolutely. But Lori, who likes to be in control of everything, had to be tired. She's like, oh, I'm tired of this girl. Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so she was like, we gonna deal with this. I wonder if that's the way, if that's part of the reason why they were so brutal to Tylee after she was already dead. Like the things they did to her body, like they made her unrecognizable, which is horrible.
My hope, because I hate that I even thought about I hope that somehow maybe they did something where she was not aware. Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
same,
maybe they could have poisoned her. I don't know. I don't know what they
same.
did, but I hope uh it's awful. It's a
Yeah,
mother's nightmare, right?
truly,
Thinking
truly.
that aspect of it, it's hard to even think of, um, because she's it's so gruesome. So talking about Brandon Boudreau, you mentioned she has a
Hmm.
lot of siblings, Lori. So someone on my side asked about this, and I did bring it up. Maybe we can talk about this a little bit. So Alex's ex-wife from back
Oh,
in the days, when he got
mm,
married early too, had some things to say about the police, had some things to say about Alex and the Coxes, to the police. So let's hear a little bit about what is going on here. This is Alex's ex-wife talking. We're over here. I'll drop the link to this if you never listened to this, but this is a phone call released. This is in 2021. This call was released somewhere in the end of the month of October 2021. The Chandler Police Department reveals a conversation between a detective and Alex Cox's ex-wife, where she shares a bizarre relationship Cox allegedly had with his sister Lori Vallow Daybell. Marriage records previously obtained by EastIdahoNews.com show Cox married a woman named Debbie in 1992. The couple divorced the following year. But when Daybell's case broke, she contacted Chandler, Arizona detective who recorded this interview in September of 2020. Debbie's last name was redacted in the police reports and they did not report it, which is fine. We don't need it. This is one of Alex's wives. Okay. Um, let's hear a little bit and let me know when you want me to.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you for calling back.
Sure.
So, I'm not really sure. Did you provide the Chandler Police Department with a tip on a specific homicide investigation?
I did.
Okay. I didn't want to lead into what the information was or anything like that, or even assume that it was you, because sometimes people play games with us online. So,
Sure.
So I've read the information that you provided, and I'm assuming you typed the information out.
I did.
Okay. What is it that you can actually talk to us about regarding all of this?
Well, I can only share the conversation. So I was married to Alex many years ago, and our marriage ended within a year, but we stayed in very close contact for several years. And I spoke to Alex last, right after he had served time in jail for the assault on Joseph Ryan. And when he was telling me about it, now Alex, I'm sure you know from your investigation, was a comedian. And he was always joking about things in a funny way or trying to be funny. And he did tell me he was still really, really mad at Joseph Ryan because of things with his sister Lori.
Okay.
Custody issues. And he had told me that Joseph Ryan had...
She says a lot in this phone call. Let me just interrupt a little bit. She drops a lot of tea. Now, I'm not sure. Someone said something that Adam and Rex debunked that, but I'm not sure what she's referring to, if she's referring
Yeah.
to this or something else. But
No, she's referring to this.
I
Because I saw
mean,
that interview this morning about
if someone
the
said to me, I'm one of 5 kids, if someone said to me that something was going on between two of my siblings that I absolutely felt was not, I would be like, get the fuck out of here. No, it's not. Or I know this, that, and the third. There's just some things we don't know. Now, I'm not saying Adam
Truly.
doesn't know, but I mean, did he, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that there's some things. Adam was kept in the dark about a lot of things. It
Mm-hmm.
seems like there was lots of secrets within the secrets within the secrets. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could be right and other people could be wrong. Alex could have just been dealing with some mental illness or just a thirst to kill and a thirst to serve his sister for what reason we don't know. I don't even know if it's the low hanging fruit to say that they were sexually involved. I just think it's something that happens. There are
Yeah.
places and spaces that there are siblings where this stuff does go down. Um, and we've seen it in our faces, like with the Duggar family. We don't know who
Mm-hmm.
the aggressor would have been. Was it Lori on Alex? Was it Alex on Lori? Like, we don't really know, but there are places and spaces that this stuff does happen.
Yeah.
So disgusting as it might be, um, I just I'm gonna just say, as someone who's got 4 siblings, that there's things I don't know about my siblings. And if something sick was going on and they wanted to keep it a secret, I think that they would keep it a secret. But you can't betray your feelings. So when she's talking about the way that they acted with each other, the way how inappropriately touchy feely they were, they might not have thought anything of it because it's been going on for so long. And if they're
Right.
weird, touchy feely type family anyway, not weird in
Mm-hmm.
that way, but just they're very open. Um, this might be something that could go under the radar. And Lori was deceptive to Adam, and Lori knew Adam had his eye out on her, maybe for a long time. So maybe they did a good
Mm-hmm.
job trying to shield Adam from what they had going on. I don't know. What do you think about it?
So the whole thing is so weird to me. Number one, Alex suffered a traumatic brain injury when he was a teenager. That he was in a very bad car accident. He was bonked on the head or whatever, and then he refused to go to treatment for it or didn't get any sort of treatment. And he's like, nah, nah, nah. I'm gonna rub some dirt on it and keep moving. He's one of those dudes,
Oh,
right? Let me
okay.
walk it off. So they say he was never the same after he had that
TBI.
car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Additionally, you know how like some people are naked people where they're real comfortable just walking around naked all the time. They're not worried about clothes or whatever. Some families are naked families, some people are naked people. My understanding is that the Cox family were naked people. Not necessarily it like that's not how
Not
we roll
necessarily
in my
nudists,
family.
but they were, if a door was open, doors were open,
Right.
or not in a sexual way, but just in
Right.
a
Just like we all natural, this is how God made me, whatever, whatever. My understanding of the family is that they were naked people.
mm,
Which no shade to our naked friends. I'm not about that life. But okay, you do you. And then on top of that, like, because that's not enough layers, Alex thought he was a stand-up comedian. I don't know that he was ever a successful stand-up comedian, but they say he would go really, really far for a joke. And so what the family is saying now, the uncle and the brother are saying now, is that Lori and Alex would have this sort of like intimate play that was over the top, past the line, inappropriate, and all the family did was laugh at it. And so maybe the family was like, oh, that's just them pushing boundaries like we always do in this family. And so I don't know, it might be like some from column A and some from column B. Who knows? But the convergence of him not being right in the head, them being naked people, them not having appropriate boundaries on any kind of level leaves me to ew. Like
yeah,
professionally, that is my response. Ew.
absolutely. Ew, yeah.
So it's like
And I mean,
it's a lot.
he had a brain injury that went untreated or not even diagnosed. Like, he beat
Nothing.
his head and he never did anything about it. I mean, he could have unleashed something. He could have already had a screw loose, but then he broke
Yep.
the screw loose. The loose screw got
Yep.
broken and then it was
Yep.
never the same. Okay, let's keep
It's
going.
a whole lot of crazy in
Possibly
that family.
sexually
But
abused the
yeah,
kids.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. I just was going to say there was a whole lot of crazy in that family. The sister who died fairly young was a little,
Yes.
she had some of that was psychologically related. Lori has been delusional about different things for a long time. Adam seemed like the only normal one. Not,
Stop. It's
yeah,
like
Adam, the one who moved
right.
away.
No,
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. And we don't know him that well. We know that he's
Right.
look, we don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he could be the one, the one. What about Summer Shiflett and the other sister? Okay.
Girl, summer is like here this family is so toxic that anybody who got close to people, you know how like you marry in, there's like the siblings that are all together, then all those people that marry in, any the family members that married in, once they got to know the Cox as well, either left, didn't want to live near them, or divorced people in that family. When Adams said, "Oh, I want to move and be closer to my family after the kids were found or whatever," the wife was like, if you moving near them, I'm out. And she straight divorced his behind.
Mm,
Summer spent all of her time defending Lori and saying Lori would never do this. I trust Lori. I believe in Lori. Her and the mama were like, you just don't know Lori. And then when the kids were found, they were like, can't believe that she did this thing. What she did was terrible, but we still love her.
mm,
Has limits. No, some real good boundaries. Real good
absolutely.
boundaries. So like,
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. Okay, let's get into this a little bit more. But yeah, we wanted to address that because there were a few people who asked about that. And welcome
Colby,
to everybody coming
as
in.
well as Tylee. But when I would ask Alex a lot of questions about it and try to dig deeper, then it would turn into, well, we're just trying to get custody. And he would flip-flop around quite a bit on whether or not that abuse had actually taken place, whether they had any proof it had taken place, or if they were just playing games to try to help his sister get custody.
Mm-hmm.
But in that conversation, he told me that he wanted to bait Joseph Ryan into a fight so that he could kill him. And if I had really
Let's stop right there. He wanted to bait Joseph Ryan into a fight so he could kill him. Does that sound like a rinse and repeat of something that happened to Charles Vallow? We're going to bait him into a fight so I can kill him.
crazy.
And it worked. It may have worked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I dropped the link to this, guys, so it'll be in y'all's chat. I dropped it in both chats, so it should be over on your side too, Kathy.
that time thought he was serious, because he said it in a joking way, but it was still creepy and weird. Weird enough that I never spoke to Alex again. That was the last time I ever talked to him. I just thought, okay, jail has not been kind to him. He's off his rocker. I really don't want to have this guy in my life anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I just never spoke to him again. That was the last time. But he had told me he wanted to bait him into a fight so that he could kill him and claim self-defense.
Okay. And how long after how long after Alex had been released from serving his time that you guys had this talk?
I think it was probably 2-3 months.
And let's not let it go unnoticed that she is talking. This is Alex's ex-wife talking to a Chandler detective, and they are currently investigating the death of Charles Vallow, who got into a fight and was killed. He's investigating another husband. Let me say it like that: another husband of Lori's who got into a fight with Lori's brother. And they use that as a vehicle for a murder, or what a killing, however you want to put it, because at this point they were not charged or anything yet. Okay,
Right.
I think
Okay.
did he just fall out?
I'm not 100% sure on the dates, but I know it was relatively soon after, just not immediately.
Okay. Did he ever go into any details of what he did to Joe or anything like that, or why he did that?
Yeah, he told me that he had tased him, and he told me that the reason he did it was because Joe was making it difficult for Lori to get custody of the kids. He also claimed that he did it as punishment for sexually abusing the kids. He said he thought Joseph deserved to die because of the sexual abuse. But really, Alex couldn't provide any. Well, I didn't feel, because I was like, well, are you sure? How do you know? Did you take the kids to a doctor? I was asking a lot of questions, and he just couldn't be straight with the answers. But those were his reasons that he stated to me that he had tased Joe.
Okay, and did he say that he had tried to kill Joe that time, or was it something different?
He didn't say he was trying to kill him. He just wanted to hurt him.
Okay.
But he did tell me he wanted to kill him, but I took it more of, I want to kill that guy, just kind of conversational. I didn't think he would actually go do something like that.
Okay.
I was even shocked that he tased him. But I didn't even know about the tasing. I heard about it from Alex.
What do you mean you didn't know about the tasing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Alex had kind of fallen off the radar we hadn't talked for about a year. And so I just thought he kind of fell off the radar. And then we talked, and he told me where he'd been the last year and what he had done.
Okay. When did you guys get married?
We got married in 92.
So then you got divorced in 93?
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, that, I don't know that this helps anything with the investigation, but as soon as I married him, I didn't know his family before we got married. We dated, whirlwind romance, got married, then I got to know the family. And there were so many crazy dynamics in that family and I've gone back since all of this came out and read my journals from that period of time. And there was just a lot of crazy dynamics in that family back then. And it caused a lot of issues right away. And it actually made me scared and nervous.
Let me say this too. So 1992, you married this weird guy. And you, like she said, whirlwind romance. She's getting to know the family after she's already married the dude, right? This call was in 2020. So 28 years later. So the things you write in your journal, you don't have enough time and space and opportunity, even if you're a big married girl and in your 20s getting married. What you know in your 20s, you definitely know a lot more 28 years later or 25 years later. So probably looking in her journals, and she's thinking, if she's a journaler and she was writing down weird stuff or just stuff that was just like, oh my God, she sits on her dad's lap, or like, oh, like they run around naked. They probably didn't think anything of it. They could have been doing whatever. People do lots of things. Anywho, but now growing up some years, you think, oh shit, that was weird. Or maybe we were drinking lots of beers then. Or we were smoking pot, so I didn't think anything of it. You know what I mean? People do things, and then you never know. They could have been doing lots of stuff. I'm not accusing anybody of being a drug addict. I'm just saying that in your 20s you do things, and in 20 things you experiment, and you just don't know what's going on. Anyway, I totally believe that you can experience some things and it goes over your head because you're just wanting to fit in. You don't have a lot of experience, but when you think back, I have a very specific memory. I went to a party with a friend. We were in our 20s. We were very young. We probably were south of 25. So we were under 25. We were at a party with people who were clearly older than us, probably well into their 30s, 40s.
Mhm.
And there were things going on at this party. Like literally, my friend, we were there for 10 minutes. We both looked at each other and we were out of our league. We were just like, let's go.
You're
Like
like, nah.
we couldn't even
You're like,
hang.
how did we get at
These
this freak off? We
these
didn't need to go
people,
to a freak
it
off.
wasn't a freak off, but these people were grown and we clearly were not. We just needed to go right back
Yeah.
to the nightclub and just go have
Yep.
our regular fun, go have our little young 20s fun, and let these grown ass people have their grown ass fun. You know what I'm saying? Like we were scared. We both were like,
You're
let's
like,
get out of here. This is not
like
this is not for us. This is not
you
for
like,
us.
I'm not. I thought I was grown. I really did. I really thought I
Yes,
was grown, but
until I got
this is
here.
too grown for
Exactly.
me.
And I'm sure even so to the freak off reference, you could
Hmm.
like they said, go to a Diddy party, you're here. It gets later and then people are over there. And you already know don't go in there because that's
Hmm.
and definitely don't go down to the basement, you know? Like there is levels to the exposure, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I totally hearing her talk about her journals, I can totally see writing some things down and 20 years later, like, oh shit, that's right. That did
Yep.
happen. You know,
Yep. And here's the
let's
Also,
listen
thing,
to a
And
little
we
more. Huh?
diary entries are admissible in a court of law because when you're taking contemporaneous notes at the time, generally speaking, you're not thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna save this for 30 years and pull it up." And
Let me
what
go ahead and
you
write this lie down.
right,
You're not
right,
doing that.
right.
Yeah, it's
On the
typically
strength of
authentic, right?
30 years from now, maybe. But yeah, but in court proceedings, especially like HR things, but in all kinds of things, diary entries or journal, present sense notes are absolutely admissible. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, you absolutely should document as much as you possibly can, especially if something is troubling, or scary, or just not
Hmm.
clear because having that presence of mind at that moment and looking at it later helps.
thought about because there was a lot of inappropriate sexual touching and things going on in the family, particularly between him and his sister,
so between Alex and Lori.
Lori.
Okay, you kind of got me at a loss on this one. What do you consider inappropriate sexual touching?
Like they were
Should grab his crotch
simulating sex acts, and which is not normal to me for a brother and a sister.
at all.
For example, he would pick her up and she'd wrap her legs around his waist and he would kind of bounce her up and down on himself
Okay.
Okay,
in front.
little straddling, little brother sister straddle session. Is that weird?
We not doing that in my house. We not doing that. Oh, about 22 petite ounces.
And
Whatever I'm
mostly
drinking, I
water,
want a
right?
lot of it. Yeah,
It's
it's
wa-
mostly this is
okay.
water. You
It's
can't
water.
see, but
Good.
it's
Okay.
water. This is my I don't know if you can it's my Curtain
Curtain
Twitchers
twitchers.
mug. I'm in the official Curtain Twitchers Union. I mean, listen, the
Period.
nosy folks, we together.
There's
We got a
nothing that I
union.
like better than a cold and ice cold water. I mean, the
Mm,
colder the better, and the crunchier the ice, the better.
mm-hmm.
Front of me, and they would moan and simulate sex acts.
Ew.
And I have brothers, and I would never act like that with one of my brothers.
Okay.
And
I'm not even going to say
his
it because
mom
that just goes without saying. Like, what? There's no point in even saying it because, duh,
and dad
Okay, wait.
talked about
they would
I'm
simulate.
gonna need to stop for a puke break. Okay, wait. Now, I've heard this recording before. The
Mhm.
first time I heard it in I guess my mind clearly filtered some of this out. I thought
'Cause it's
she
gross.
their sex life
it's
in
Oh, my
front of
bad.
disgusting. I thought he would stand there and I knew she would jump on him and wrap her arms around them. And I thought it just was like them being silly. The moaning
No,
and
it's a
oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
it's a
Mm-mm.
little twerk session. It's a little she's wrapping her arm, she's jumping on him, wrapping her legs around him, and
Uh-uh.
she's doing like a
Uh-uh. 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 There's not enough brain bleach in the world. What? In front of your mom
ew.
and daddy and them? Aunties is just at the house? What are
They
y'all
were
doing?
like, go Alex, go Alex, go Lori, go Lori.
It's your birthday? Like,
Yeah. Oh, they're playing horsey. They're just having a little fun.
Jesus. Okay.
Okay. Yes. A
With
mess.
her constantly, and it just kind of seemed to be a game for them.
Oh,
To
the
talk
mom and
about
dad
their-
didn't
That's not a
really
game.
object to it then, huh?
No, not at all. All of this was going on in the family, in front of everybody. They had no shame.
Okay. So that obviously was kind of an alarm for you, I'm assuming, during your marriage.
Yeah.
And did it continue? Was it more than one time that you saw it?
Yeah, it was just about every time
Once
we were
was
with
enough.
them. Now, Alex and I only lived together married for about 4 or 5 months. And then I just knew that family was too weird, that I had made a big mistake. And so I got out.
So on top of that being a brother-sister moment, do you imagine your husband is the one picking up his sister playing horsey in the living room on Christmas? Baby, if you don't sit your ass down, like I'd be like, Mom, can you send me the ticket? Mom, I'm going to the airport tomorrow. I need a ticket back home. I'm not staying here. Like,
Jesus
there's
be
just no
offense.
way.
I can't.
There's no way.
I
Like, it's one thing to
this
witness something weird, but that's your husband and you got to go home with him, baby. No,
on a
no, thank
regular
you.
basis, and the family is laughing and everybody just sitting around like hee ha ha ha. No, no,
No,
no.
no,
Hee
ma'am.
hee ha
No
ha my
turkey,
ass.
no
I'm out.
ham, no biscuit, no nothing. There's nothing on that.
Mm-mm.
Disgusting. And then
Mm-mm.
it's like, oh, that's my husband. How embarrassing is that? That's gross.
She like, I'm a Tootsie slide right on out this
Right.
family.
So
No,
at the
ma'am.
time, were you guys part of LDS?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, both of us had been baptized, but neither one of us were being active.
Okay.
And I was only baptized and active for a year of my life anyway. I wasn't really raised LDS.
Alrighty. How did Alex talk about Lori?
Well, he was a really, really protective big brother, but he also talked about her being hot, and he sexualized her quite a bit. And
Nasty.
he was just.
Did all the kids have the same parents? Was it all
Yes.
Mom Vallow and her many husbands, or it was Mom and Pop
No.
Vallow and all of the many
Mom and
tribe
Pop
of kids?
Vallow.
Okay.
Pop
Also
Vallow was
really, really
nuts.
protective.
Mm.
We lived in the same apartment complex for a while, and it just kind of seemed like Alex just chased after her a lot.
Starfish and coffee. This is what I'm going to say. Go to Dateline. Go on Peacock or go to your NBC app. Go to Dateline. There's a couple, maybe 3, 4 long Keith Morrison pieces. Then go to East Idaho News. Go to
Yes.
Hidden True Crime. Go to Kathy, Gossip Rumor, Innuendo, Lori Vallow playlist. Do you know what I'm saying? Go. There's so much. I mean, it's
Yeah.
if you want to. I don't recommend a deep dive right away because that's kind of like going real deep right away. You're not going to know who anybody is, so it's almost a waste of time. I would get I would get a good framework of the story, and then handle yourself accordingly. But
So
some
this is what I would recommend. If you
Mhm.
don't know this story at all, or you just know the edges and you're like, I'm trying to put it all together, there's a really, really good podcast that covers this soup to nuts, but gives you like the broad overview. It's called Mommy Doomsday. It's voiced by Keith Morrison. It's put out by
Mhm.
Dateline. The Mommy Doomsday podcast, that might be 3 or 4 episodes, something like that. Is any place you could get podcasts, you can find maybe it's like Dateline's Mommy Doomsday or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But the Mommy Doomsday podcast does a really, really nice job of covering
Oh,
everything. So that because you could go down 100 different rabbit
and
trails on this
Netflix.
one.
The Netflix special, that
Yes,
was good too. The
yes.
Netflix special was
Sins of
very
Our
good.
Mother.
Yeah.
Sins of Our Mother is the Netflix special. But for if you're just starting out, if you're just like, wait, where do I begin? I've literally done over 100 videos on this topic. And so it's like you could sort of anybody who's done it. Lauren and John Matthias at Hidden True Crime are fantastic. They go into the psychological aspect of it. I take a more comedic look at it because it's ridiculous and these folks are all crazy. But if you just want to know, like, wait, who are the people? I need a chart. I need to know what's what. Brandy Churchwell has done a Churchwell chart where she does a family tree and a visual timeline if you're a visual learner. But for anybody who's starting, Mommy Doomsday is the place to start.
Yeah, I think just get the story, and then get the
They'll give
details.
you the story.
Don't go
And
for
then what?
details. Details are not gonna help you if you don't know the
Yeah.
story. You'll have to any details you get, you're gonna have to learn the story behind it, so just get the high
Yep.
level story first,
Yep.
before you start investing your time into something, because it's also an investment of time. There's so much good stuff to listen to. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
intriguing stories out here. Before you jump all the way in, you're not really sure. Get the story, see if you're hooked, and get the bait. And then from
Yep.
there, it'll just come up. Al is really good. We call algorithm Al over here. Al is very good about
Yep.
leading you down the yellow brick road. You'll be
Absolutely.
fine. Just get
Uh, the
started.
Netflix the Netflix special is called Sins of Our Mother. And that features Colby Ryan. It tells the story from his point of view. Like, I am the son of this lady where all these crazy things happen. I think I don't remember if Sins of Our Mother was several episodes or if it was one long doc, but
Mhm,
Sins of Our Mother was really good. But it's told from the point of view of Colby and like the larger picture of his
mhm.
life experience with this crazy mother and how all of that unfolded. And
That was good.
it covers everything. Yeah, it covers everything.
All right, let's get
Did
back
you ever
to number
suspect anything
18.
more going on other
So
than
let's just do this too, since we see a lot of people. So next week, whenever the verdict comes in, let's try and steal 30 minutes whenever you're not free. Let's try and find 30 minutes so we can be like, oh my God.
Yes. Girl will be on vacation next week. I will be in a
Oh, that's
tropical
right.
paradise.
Okay. Okay.
I'll have
Okay.
nothing but free time. No, no, no. I
Oh,
will
okay.
have nothing
Good.
but free time.
Girl,
I'm
you
gonna be like, let me sip my drink from the straw with the
okay,
umbrella.
because I'm gonna be jealous, I will make sure my umbrella's out on the patio,
Okay.
and I will have a
Okay.
drink and all of that. So in my mind, I'll be somewhere exotic, but I'll just be in North Carolina, and you'll
Okay.
be where you're at, and then we'll have fun with the verdict. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And if you guys like that, make sure you hit the thumbs up and make sure to comment to let us know that you want us to do
Absolutely.
that on verdict night or post verdict
Absolutely.
morning or something. Okay, let's
Mhm.
listen to a little bit more.
I guess their playfulness, I guess?
Well, I asked him because he did touch her breasts and things, but they were allowed to do that in their family. So to him, he didn't think it was weird. He thought I was weird for thinking it was weird. And so we talked about that stuff a lot, but
Look, I hate to say it, and people think this is gross and all of this, and it is. It's very much giving disgusting. There are people out here that are doing things behind closed doors that just are not socially acceptable. They're not legal, and it's absolutely disgusting. It's vile. It's against all kinds of laws and
And
spiritual
nature.
laws and nature and everything. But don't think that it's not happening.
Mm,
Don't think it's not happening. Don't think it's not happening. This is
true.
just, we're in a time right now because of so much technology. We are being exposed to what's been happening for a very long time, and people are talking about it. People used to keep people's dirty secrets. Now people are
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. And really and truly, I appreciate it because that lets people know we're not crazy for thinking these things and we're not bad people for thinking these things. We know something's going on and other people know things are going on, but people just don't like to talk about it because they make you feel like a bad person for bubbling it up. And just wouldn't surprise me. It just wouldn't surprise me
Mm-hmm.
because the
Agreed.
bond between these two was very strange.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he was sleeping with her.
Okay.
I just thought he had the liberty to touch her.
That's disgusting still.
Did you ever confront him on that?
Yeah, I did.
Good
And
for
I
her.
confronted him on, what about when we have kids? Would you allow that between our kids? And he just didn't think that there was anything wrong with what was going on.
Okay.
So we thought about it.
So you mentioned that he was a protective big brother. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Well, he just, she had been married. She got married really quickly. I think she ran off to Los.
Okay, some people are confused. We are listening to Debbie. Debbie is the ex-wife of Alex. Debbie is talking to one of the police detectives in Chandler, where the trial is going on at this moment. This interview is from 2020, and she is giving some background information. Keep in mind, Lori got charged, what, 2 years? Was it 2 years after? So for charges for Charles Vallow.
Yeah.
So 2019 to 2021, this interview happened in 2020. This woman, Debbie, who was married to Alex in 1992, is telling the police detective that a plot that they had once upon a time to kill Joe Ryan, and she's telling them that she thinks that some things that they may have been involved in that. She's telling them about an inappropriate relationship between Lori and her brother. Not Kathy and her brother. Girl, stop. That's a girl. That's the T. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding,
Oh,
Kathy.
Jesus.
Between Lori, okay, and her brother, and that's who's talking. So if you're just now coming in, I suggest slide the bar back because everything will be answered. We're just going to listen to a few more minutes. I dropped the link to this. I don't want to keep Kathy for too long. Kathy, let's listen to a little bit because it seems like every 2-3 minutes she's dropping like major T. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
girl, how do we stop? I'm going to drop the link again so you guys can go listen to this on your own, uninterrupted. And if you want to listen to it all the way, we're not having a listening party at this moment. So don't expect us to stop. But you can have a listening party. I dropped the link for you. And then come back and comment and tell us what you heard or anything that you feel like is worth discussing. And then maybe we can do another video about it or answer your comment, something like that. Okay.
Vegas, and this was right before I married Alex. I think she ran off to Las Vegas with she married a guy and then came home, and Alex would just always talk about how he wanted to go kick his ass.
Was this Joe or was this somebody else?
No, this was someone else. She got married when she was like 18.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't approve of her choice, and she did run away and elope. And the minute she got back to California, their dad, Barry, made her divorce him. And so Alex was like really, really bothered by that. But if anybody kind of looked at her wrong or treated her how he thought was not right, then he was always talking about how he wanted to kick their ass.
Do you think there was any abuse from the dad as far as sexual abuse? Do you think he was helping himself to his daughters?
I don't know. I know the dad was a real weirdo. He was one of those, what do you call them? The sovereign citizens who sort of make up their own rules and they're just like, no, I don't have to pay taxes because of this thing and that thing and blah, blah, blah. One of those. So this whole family is a whole freak show, if you ask me. Everybody in there, soup to nuts, everybody.
Girl, the whole green chili chicken enchilada. Baby. Okay, okay. I dropped you guys the link. We'll have to part 2 on this. Maybe next time we get together, or I'll finish it up or something. Let's talk about some things. Okay, the trial, because I don't want to keep you all night. I'm sure you got dinner to cook and all of the things. What were some standouts for you? Someone asked, do we think Lori's going to testify? We talked about that earlier. I'm going to give you my answer. I don't think so,
I
but
agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if she does. I wouldn't be surprised if she comes back over the weekend and her lawyer is like, look, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. If we're able to keep it very narrow and you shut thy mouth and only answer my questions, we'll be okay. But if you go to the left or to the right, you're going to be in trouble and you're going to have 4 life sentences. So,
But keep in mind, she's her own lawyer. Those other people can't tell her what to do. She's in the driver's
I'm
seat.
saying her consultant can say, if she says, "What do you think I should do? Give me some advice."
Right, right.
And
I
they
mean,
say,
they can offer her input, right?
yeah,
But ultimately, even whether she's the
even if
lawyer
they
or
were
not,
right, they can't tell
the
her what
judge
to do.
tells them it's your decision. It's your
Right,
decision.
the
And there
law.
have been
Yeah.
right. And there have been times it seems like she's been able to hear reason. Like when she had Nancy Joe on the stand, the lady who dated her husband that she
Mhm.
shot. Like, girl, you mad that he's dating her? You shot the man. You know what I mean? Like, calm down.
Well, she was
But
gone
when
with Chad.
right,
How are you
rub
mad
off
that
on
he's
that
going on
nasty
dates when you got
thumb.
a whole boyfriend?
Hmm. And that boyfriend has a whole wife, like, ma'am.
Okay, keep
But
your legs
they
close to married men.
for real.
Okay.
So when she was like, "Oh, I got questions for this heifer." I mean, that's not what she said, but that's the spirit of what she said. And they were like, "Well, should we take the lunch break now?" She was like, "Yeah, because I have many, many questions." Over the lunch break, it seems like her team was like, "Girl, don't go there."
Cute.
And so when they came back from lunch, she seemed to have calmed down. She backed down a little bit and went on to other questions. So it seems like, especially if she's given a little time and space, she's able to hear reason. She's entertaining herself at this point. She's gonna be in prison for life no matter what,
No matter what.
and she knows that.
But this was my question. So, okay, so this is what we know. She's got 3 life sentences already. She's headed towards 1, possibly 2 more, right? Or
Mhm,
whatever the sentence would be for attempted murder. I don't know. Is
mhm.
his a second degree or what is it? It's not a second degree. Maybe so it's attempted
Conspiracy
conspiracy to commit
conspiracy to commit
with
murder.
Brandon.
Mhm,
Okay. Um, so for life and maybe 50 years or however much they decide to give her. Do you think there is some sort of weirdo strategy that she's thinking she's going to come through on appeal or write some crazy letters to, Judge
well,
Sotomayor,
Jesus gonna set her
or
free. Jesus gonna
she's
set her
gonna
free.
start writing Supreme Court judges and like does she have some diabolical appellate plan that she going to be writing presidents and asking for pardons? Like what is going on in that mind of Lori? Like what does she think she's doing, because she is racking them up? There's
Yeah.
no way that God can help her at this moment other than somehow somebody, like, she writes some, there's nothing that can help her, nothing that can help
Well,
her.
you are being logical when this lady is not. She
Help
said
it.
on that Keith
I can't
Morrison
help it.
interview, she is going to be exonerated. She and Chad are going to be exonerated, and they're going to live happily ever after, and they're going to rule over the universe and sit next to Jesus. And then
Mm,
she's going to go on Dancing with the Stars. Like, girl, okay. Is this before or after the end times and the white
mm,
tents? Like,
mm.
she was going on and on about how, like, when the end time comes, it's going to be so wonderful and everyone's going to live in these white tents. We can't have the end times at the Marriott. Like,
Girl, or
please,
out on Long Island. This is not a Hamptons Diddy party. Come
right,
on now. I mean, because
under a tent.
he's the purveyor of the white party on top of the
Mhm,
freak off. This is not a Hamptons beach party. She
mm-mm.
she's a
She's just
nut.
like, we're all going to be in Rexburg, Idaho, and we want to be near a water source so that we can still eat. I'm not roughing nothing. Nothing. No, take me in the first round. Send me to wherever I'm gonna go. Send me to my great reward. I don't want to be here for all of that madness. If it's in a tent and you eating your canned beans over your camping stove or whatever, no, no, no.
So let
I
me
got
ask you
Marriott
this.
Reward points. I'm not going to that. No, I'm not going to the end times. I'm just
Oh,
not.
okay, period. So what was more important to you? Was it the detective that basically did all of the cell phone data collection that said there's no way? I love analytics. There's no way
Mm-hmm.
that she could have been here and there in that amount of time. Or
Mm-hmm.
was it the KK Walker email address with the emails, the fake phony emails and all of that stuff? Was it the emails? Was it the text messages? Was it the timeline? For me, I'm gonna say first, it was the timeline for me.
Mm-hmm.
Timeline, it was the timeline.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing, I mean, I think it's sort of before we got to all the digital evidence, it was all like, well, maybe this and maybe that, and this could have happened and that could have happened. But that timeline is not lying, right? Lori lies every time she opens her mouth. Alex was lying. Even if all of those witnesses are lying, that timeline is not lying. And there's nothing they can overdo to overcome. The cell phone said you were here while you said you were there. Like, it doesn't add up.
Right.
So I mean, I
You
think she could be convicted on the strength of just the timeline and the text messages and all the other shenanigans she was up to. She's done, like super
I think the
duper done for.
timeline does it because you guys, if it was self-defense, why lie? Why be so fuzzy about the time? At the end of
Yep.
the day, if you guys say what happened happened, then it happened. And if you waited 20 minutes to call, you waited 20 minutes to call. I mean, not to say
Mm-hmm.
that that's the right thing to do because it's not. Alex
Right.
is dead, that doesn't mean that that's a conspiracy. But
Mm-hmm.
because you guys are sitting up here lying and there's some deception, when there's deception, it makes people think that there's another situation in the midst. So I think the timeline makes them look really bad. I think
Yeah.
that yes, there's conversations and something was clearly going on. I don't know. I can't say it's up for interpretation. I've clearly we know what's going on because we know what's going on. I
Mm-hmm.
just think the timeline, it's the lies. It's the lies that are above lies. It's the lies, it's the inconsistencies in the storyline that are
Mm-hmm.
disproven by the actual facts. And the facts are the phones and the data don't lie. So no matter
Yep.
what's going on and can be interpreted by the text messages and the emails, it's not possible for this story to have occurred the way you said it did
Right.
because of the phones and I don't want to say GPS, but I guess maybe GPS in the phones,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those things. It just didn't happen that way. So what's the real story? Did he shoot him and he waited 20 minutes? Because Alex is dead. If Alex
Right.
waited 20 minutes to call the police, I don't know. I was trying to take my son to school. I was over there at Burger King and I was getting flip-flops. And by the time I came back, he called me, told me what happened. I don't know what the timeline is, but to kind of be on such a strict timeline and to not realize that they have all of the data with the real times, that's stupid.
And to be so nonchalant through the whole thing, she was just like, "Oh, sorry, neighbors, ha 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 ha." And reportedly, according to the neighbors, the night that this murder happened, they had a pool party at the
Mm,
house. How you got a murder in the morning and a pool party in the afternoon, ma'am? Mm-mm.
a
She
mess.
her whole demeanor about the whole thing. And she kept going, "They say I was nonchalant. You were nonchalant. How come I can't be nonchalant, ma'am? Nope, nope,
Well, because
nope,
that's
nope,
your
nope."
husband of like what, 13 years? That's your husband.
Yes, yes. He's dead on the floor. Your brother shot him, and y'all are what, celebrating? She called the funeral home that same day. She had the
Yeah.
presence of mind to call the funeral home the same day and be at the Social Security office the next day. She was like, "We got a punch list. Okay, so we're gonna shoot him. I'm gonna call the funeral home. I gotta let my boyfriend know. Let's get some flip flops. We gotta pick up these chicken fingers. Let me get to Social Security." She was just like, boom, 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 1, 2, 3. Uh-uh,
Well, and I
uh-uh.
mean, in all fairness, I'm going to say this. When people die, you do have to, the body does have to be released in a certain amount of time. So if they weren't thinking it's a murder and they're releasing it, from the morgue, then you have to. And then also in some religions, I don't know about Mormons, how they bury their dead. Did you talk to your Mormon contact about that? Are there
I
any
didn't.
rules? Because,
I know
at
that
at
there's
home in New
certain rules,
Jersey, our Jewish
girl,
friends, baby, you
24
can't.
hours.
So
Muslims
that
too, 24
so that
hours.
would not be uncommon, right? To our
Right.
Jewish friends and our Muslim friends, that would not be uncommon, right?
Right. Right. 1, 2, 3, you get it done. But
Right.
the Mormon faith, I don't think they have that, because the reason that our Jews and Muslims do that is because they don't embalm. So you want to get
Yeah.
it like 1, 2, 3, you want to get it
Mhm.
done. With LDS, I know they like dress them a certain way, and they do certain things to prepare the physical body itself, but I don't think they have that time constraint of such a short period of time. He was cremated anyway, which
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't think is a traditional LDS thing. But Charles was a convert, so sometimes it's like, you could be a little bit on the diet side if because
Right.
you weren't like trenched in it and raised in it and all of those things.
Well, also they
Crazy.
moved a lot. So sometimes when you think about death, you want to have your final resting place be where your people are, but if your people are here, there and
Hmm.
everywhere. But I
Hmm.
guess Lake Charles could have been it. And little known fact, I've
Yeah.
actually been to Lake Charles, Louisiana. Okay. I
What were
lived
you
in
doing
Texas.
down there?
Well, I went to college in Texas. I'm a U of H girl, and
Okay.
my roommates were from Beaumont and Lake Charles. So yeah, from
Oh, no.
Beaumont, Texas, and Lake Charles. So yes, anyone from Houston. I
Okay.
mean, Lake Charles. So you heard them talk about Houston a lot. Lake Charles is very close. I would say probably like an hour, hour and a half drive, maybe 2 hours.
Oh,
Um, but Beaumont, maybe it would take like an hour to get to Beaumont, and then but yeah, I'd been to Lake Charles before. Yes.
I had no idea. I mean, I knew that
Mhm.
you had gone to school in the South, but I didn't
Yes.
realize that
I'm a
Louisiana
Jersey
and that
Belle,
part of
okay?
Texas.
I am so Jersey Belle cuz yeah. But yeah, it's a beautiful place. Louisiana is absolutely
Wow.
stunning, and Texas too. Um but yeah, okay, so interesting. Is there anything we didn't talk about? I mean, overall I feel like this trial has been quite satisfying. I love the fact it was
Hmm.
7 days, like, because getting off of
Yes.
Monica Sementelli, baby, that was biblical.
It
That
took
was literally 40 days and 40
forever.
nights. It was ever.
Ever. 3 days of opening statements. I was like, I can't with these people. I can't.
Okay.
It was
It
a
was a
lot, a
lot.
lot.
Bob was on the stand. I was like, is he still after 2 days? I was like, "Sir, are you still on the stand?
Why are you still
Why?
talking? What
What
are you
in the
talking
ex-porn
about?
star are we talking? What in the racquetball? What in the why?" I'm
Girl,
like, "It's too
they talked
much."
about that case on Dateline, and the way her family, Monica's family, shaded him. They were like, "Did you see what he was wearing? He had bald spots in his head. He was wearing a peeling pleather jacket." Girl, I was dying. It's like I was driving down the
Girl,
street
they may
listening,
have
and I
just
was
said
like,
a bum.
the
Yes,
shade, the
yes.
absolute shade.
Now, Fab's
Mm-mm.
sisters are very cute. The sister, have
Yes.
you seen Fab Sisters? They're very
Yes,
cute.
I have. I have.
Um, and I really liked his sisters. I feel sorry for Fab. Now people were saying, don't get mad at me. People were saying that Fab did cheat on his wife to
The
be with
first wife,
Monica.
yeah. He
Monica was
absolutely
his boo
did.
thing. So
Mhm.
Monica was his side piece, and then Monica got a side piece. So I mean, it's
Now you get
unfortunate. I still don't think Fab deserved it, but I guess
no.
you do
No.
have to. We all have to consider our footprints out here. So
Mhm.
he could have unleashed something on himself because of that dangerous liaison. So not saying it's his fault, but sometimes we open doors to things because we make
Mhm.
certain decisions. So I feel bad. Either way, Fab didn't deserve it, but
Yeah,
I mean,
no, no, no.
I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that Monica was his boo thing on the side of his first wife. So
Yep.
but that was a lot. And so yeah, this was very nice. It's nice to get a kind of petite trial, if you will, even though it's a big trial, but
Yes.
it was very
Yes.
kind of it was I don't know, I enjoyed the fact that I'm like, it looks like they're getting ready to be done soon.
Mhm.
Are you
Very
going
satisfying.
very satisfying, not overwhelming. Yes. Do you
Right.
feel like it's just going to be a straight up and down? Well, I do feel like, why bother, sis? Why are we bothering? Why don't you just plead guilty and let them give you your time, or no contest? Why don't you just give a good old fashioned no contest, see if they take it?
Mhm. She wants the show. She wants to entertain herself. But she has said she's been very vocal about the fact that she does not want to stay stuck in Arizona. She
Yes.
wants to go back to her nice view and the nice people. I guess she's really enjoying the people up in Idaho, which good for you. I
Yeah.
don't
Let her. Okay.
okay, girl, whatever. Whatever.
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't
Let
get
me
it. It's
see.
not for me.
Are there any? Did we answer all the questions? So trial satisfying. She's probably not going to testify.
Right.
We think possibly we're looking at a guilty. If they give her a not guilty, it's because they didn't have all of the information, but it
For
still isn't
sure.
going to make a difference because
For
at the end of
sure.
the day, it's not guilty of conspiracy. It doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean that Alex didn't kill Charles. We know Alex
Right.
killed Charles. That's a foregone conclusion. Did they prove that Lori conspired against him? I am not 100% sure. I think they prove that she's lying. I think they
Yeah.
prove that she's not truthful. I don't know that there's a slam dunk like conspiracy. I think the text messages did say some things.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
emails were definitely, but without knowing like, oh, she secretly emailed this person and she emailed that person and
Mhm,
that person's now dead. They don't know all of that. So it's yeah,
mhm.
I feel I Charles needs to get his justice. Um I don't know. I think did she stop asking that question? Um, did you witness me conspire?
She asked
Her
everybody.
she didn't ask that to Nancy Joe. I don't think she asked
Oh,
the
you're
police
right.
detective,
She
did
came
she?
up with the
Girl,
family
after
members.
Kay Woodcock, I think she stopped. Girl, after Kay Woodcock, I think she
She's
laid
like,
that
"I'm
question
done,
to
done.
rest. Yeah, she was like, "I'm done on
Done,
that one."
done, done."
No, but
God.
I certainly saw a lot of evidence. I was like,
Yes, Miss K. Yeah, Miss K is a hero.
Miss K
She
was
is
like, "Don't play with me. I'm missing my bed. I want to get back home. You bitch."
right. She's like, "Why you got me out here? Everybody knows you a whole scumbag, a whole garbage
Okay,
pail, and we still
absolutely.
got one more
Funny.
trial." Like, "Nah, girl, nah,
So okay, so this was
a
fun.
mess."
What did we not talk about? Did we talk about everything? Is she
I
wearing the
think
suit
covered
every day? Do we know? Have we been able to do a
was she
fit check
wearing
on
what?
her?
The stun belt, you said?
Not that no, her outfit check. Are we even? It's like just a standard pantsuit, prison pantsuit.
With the shirt untucked so you can't see the stun belt that she's
Okay.
wearing.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Is she wearing,
Mm-mm.
shower shoes, or do they have actual shoes on her?
I think they have have her in real shoes, but we can't see her feet, so I'm not sure. Oh wait, there's one thing we
Closing
didn't cover, and
arguments.
that is flip-flop gate. There's been a lot of chatter online
Yes.
about when Lori said she went to the Walgreens to buy the flip-flops. In the video where she's walking in the door, she already has shoes on her feet. She said she had run out of the house with no shoes on, so she went into Walgreens to buy a couple of pairs. She did go into Walgreens and bought a couple pairs of flip-flops, but she had something on her feet. So people have been saying maybe she had blood on her shoes from Charles getting shot, although there wasn't a ton of blood, so I don't know. But she was wearing at least one shoe. It was
Okay.
unclear if she was wearing two, but there's something weird about the shoe purchase. Not that it matters. I think it's sort of inconsequential to the whole thing. But I was like,
I mean, she could be a liar. I don't know. I wish I kind of didn't know what I know, so I could kind of try to look at it through
yeah.
the jurors' eyes to see,
Mm-hmm.
do they feel like, because if you're lying to me, I feel like, okay, you're lying. I can't really believe anything that you're saying, but she didn't put on a defense, so
Right.
there's
I
not
think
really anything
I
that
think
she's
this
trying
is
to
a
sell
slam
to
dunk.
us. You
I
do?
think it's a slam
Okay.
dunk guilty. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. She lied
I'm
on
not
things
gonna
she
be
didn't even need to lie
surprised.
on. Yeah, nah.
It's and then also just kind of the theory of there's no coincidences. Like there's
Mhm.
way too many coincidences, and you guys were playing too much in the background. There was too much behind the scenes, if you will,
Yep.
for you to not have known either what your brother was up to or helped to drag your feet after it was done.
Right.
Maybe that, like, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like you guys literally drug your
Yeah.
feet. So whether you
It's
were
all
conspiring or
super
not,
suspicious.
when it happened, you guys
Super
dragged your
suspicious.
feet, and it's possible he could have lived.
Mhm.
He could have
Well,
been
no, they said
living.
a bullet through the heart in like 2, 3
He
minutes
was
tops,
okay,
and they
so he was
waited
done.
45 minutes. So,
Yeah, he
yeah,
was
no, there
done.
was no way. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I feel like we've covered
Crazy.
everything. Do you guys think we've covered everything? Does anybody have any questions before we go? I believe the jury will find her guilty in less than 2 hours. It's going to be shorter than that. I mean, really and truly, I feel like the timeline slam dunks it for me more than anything
Yeah.
else, because you kind of have to know a little bit about what's going on to really feel like it's a slam dunk. If you take out
Mm.
what you know and who's dead and who's not dead, it's like, I wonder what they meant by that, or I wonder, um let's see.
This
Now
is
that
an interesting comment.
so many promises in her opening, the state can move to have her OS struck from the record. Because she made so many Lori, because you'll
Lori
find that
and
this
her
was a uh I just remember her opening statement being, in this opening statement, you're going to find that this, you're going to
the
find that
evidence
I
will
loved
show.
my
The
husband.
evidence
Your
will show.
evidence will show this. The evidence will show that. Um, and it's not really, I mean, it's promises, but it's not, isn't it not necessarily testimony? It's not,
It's not.
it's
It's
just
not.
talk. It's, I don't know that they can have
Yeah.
that stricken from the, maybe they can. I don't know. The
No
state can
idea.
have her opening statement struck from the record. I don't think the judge cares that much about it. I'm going to be honest. He seems very pragmatic, and I don't think he's going
Mm-hmm.
to get stuck with the small stuff, because she seems to be the type that she's looking for a loophole
Yep.
to maybe try to,
100%.
yeah, she'll go from loophole to loophole to loophole. I think if he felt like there was a problem with her opening statement to begin with, then he would have steered her back on track, or maybe we'd have heard something more about it, but I don't know.
And he's a former defense attorney. This judge is a former defense attorney,
Yeah.
they say. So
He's very kind of like, I'm just watching and I'll say something
Mhm.
I need to. He doesn't really get very involved.
Yeah,
I guess
he's not tied in knots about any of this. He's like, "Look,
I
y'all,
yeah.
crazy ladies going crazy." So, yeah.
I wonder, I'm gonna
Yeah.
look up and see when opening statements. I would like to see a situation where opening statement has been struck from the record.
Mm,
And not saying it's never
interesting.
happened, 'cause I'm sure obviously if this person said it, then maybe that has happened, but I don't know why this
Mhm.
would want to do that. Um, because
Interesting.
I mean, I guess we have to see. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat.
Okay. All right. Well, you have a wonderful meal. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone who came over to visit. And Kathy, number one, thank you for coming to visit. I appreciate you coming over. And
I
everybody
love
find
spending time
you.
with you
Oh, thank you.
and the
Everyone
bougie gang.
actually up above in the title. If you're over here and not at Kathy's, you can find Kathy in up top. Her channel is linked, so all you have to do is click that link. I'll take you right over.
Yes, I am gossip, rumor, and innuendo on all the things, all the socials, all the things.
Okay, and if you're over at Kathy's, if you're looking for me, maybe Kathy, if you'll @sign me on yours.
I will. I will.
Thank you. Okay. All right,
And talk
guys.
bougie. Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Right.
Kathy. I enjoyed you so much. This was so much fun. And then we'll make a date for
Thanks for
next week
having
whenever
me.
the verdict goes
Absolutely.
down. Okay.
Shoot me a text. Shoot me
I
a text. I'll
will.
be around.
I will. Okay. Take
Bye.
care. Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming. Okay, guys, that was so much fun. Kathy, thank you so much. Everybody, Gossip Rumor Innuendo, thank you so much. I enjoyed you guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Happy Easter. If you are celebrating, it's Good Friday. I hope you have a happy and blessed weekend and enjoy and remember the reason for the season along with your true criming over the weekend. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.